Hello and welcome back to 1000 Gurus. Kat, welcome back to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me back. Always
Yeah,
enjoy being
thanks for
here.
being here. Yes, yes. Same. It's been quite a while. You were guest number three, I believe, on the show. Is that correct? I think. Yeah, you were guest
Approximately
number
around
three.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, so literally guest number three. So you are an OG, and now this is going to be episode 63, 62, 62. So you are in season one and season seven.
Damn.
So it is quite a milestone. So, anyways, it's been a while since we caught up. So, how are you, Kat?
I am doing so well. I currently have a thriving nightlife career that I was thrown into, so that's what I've just been spending a lot of my time on. What about you?
Good. Just the school year started, so choreo's literally just started. We just got a
Yep,
roster
yep, yep,
coming
yep.
out. So, personally, not looking forward to having to drive to UCLA and have dance practices, but whatever. It's
Yeah,
for the
you
kids.
gotta do it.
Yeah. So I'm curious. I know we have a couple of topics, and we'll kind of riff on that for a little bit. And we'll try to, like I said, try to keep it about an hour. But were you already doing nightlife before? When we last spoke, or it just kind of increased, or was this like a whole new thing?
Um, I've been in a nightlife scene since I was so young, but it feels almost like I inherited it from my mom because she way back in the day she used to straight up own a nightclub because she and her friends would party so much that they decided let's just buy one back in Vietnam, and then they did that, and now I'm in nightlife and she's like, "Oh, you're so much like me. Don't be too much like me." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm try." So I've been in that scene for a long time. Even in Korea, I'll be 19 years old, dancing on stage. And as soon as I hit 21, COVID happened. So I wasn't really feeling like going to the clubs and all that. But now, I have so much freedom and I have so much free time. And I just feel so drawn to the music and the atmosphere of nightlife. So I just fell into it. I never applied for the job. It was either referred to me or just straight up the owner of the company is like, "Hey, this is Cash. She'll be working with us." I'm like, "Oh, I am? Okay."
Mm.
It happens.
So
It happens.
so the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and you've always been
Mm-hmm.
around nightlife. But
Yeah.
you're saying, when did you start, like, I guess, working within that, like, professionally, or getting asked to help out or something?
Mm-hmm. I started professionally when I was 21, and I was dancing at the nightclubs, just doing K-pop performances and some go-go dancing. But now I work as a bartender and a promoter. I've been a bartender for the last 3 years, and I've been a promoter for the last year.
Okay. So was that like, hmm, I know you mentioned that it's kind of always been your scene, you've been in it for a while. Was it your intention to go in, or was there a serendipitous story that kind of sucked you in,
It
or what was
wasn't
that?
necessarily my intention. I think I just enjoy going to the club. Especially I started going to WeHo mainly, so West Hollywood. That's where a lot of the gay nightlife is, and I feel the most safe there for the most part. So, and I enjoyed going there. They have a lot of K-pop nights, so that's usually what drew me in. So I started working with an event company called QT Nightlife, and they're mainly a gay Asian company and event promoter. They work with different venues, different clubs that cater towards Asian and or gay communities. And so I started working with them as a performer and minor organizer. And then recently I started going to K-Town, and that's how I got into the current promoter company that I'm with right now.
Okay. So how's it been since then? You said it's been a couple years?
Yes. It's been a couple years now. Not necessarily tired of it, but I feel like the joy and the excitement is gone to rally all your friends and go clubbing. Cause I show up and I feel like I have a different kind of joy now. It feels more comfortable, if that makes sense. It's not like, "Oh my God, I'm going clubbing." It's more of like, "Oh my God, I'm partying with all my friends and I get to do this every week." So I fortunately am not jaded because of nightlife just yet.
Makes sense. So It's funny because in college, my friends and I, when we would go clubbing, it would exclusively be in WeHo at
Mhm.
like Game Boy when they were around,
Ah,
and
I
because they
never
would
got to
they
go
would
there,
have
yeah.
yeah, they would have the reason why we went to those clubs in particular was because they had some like once a month or once every few months like a K-pop night. And back
Mhm.
then, K-pop wasn't really that big, but
Mm-mm.
I reflect your sentiment because I always loved going to gay clubs way more because it was a lot more fun.
Yeah.
My friends who were girls always felt safer there, and it's like, there'll be gay dudes walking around and like dancing with us and it's all chill, but very less like, those creepy guys who kind of just come around and ruin the night. And so
Yeah.
for me that was always more fun. And then it's always nice to get hit on once in a while, and some
Mhm.
guy asks if like, oh, can I buy you a drink? I'm like, no,
And
it's
you're
okay, and then
like,
I'm all
"It's
dancing with them.
okay."
I'm like, no, it's okay. Oh, this you're the third guy. Oh, so it's good for the ego, of course.
Yeah, my guy friends tell me that all the time. They're like, "Oh yeah, no, I love going to the gay club every once in a while because like it's nice to get hit on. I don't get hit on much often." I was like, "Aw, okay, yeah, let's go. Let me take you. Let me take you. Let's go get you a little side piece."
Yeah, for us guys, since we don't get hit on or catcalled as much, or maybe, for the not as attractive guys out there, it's like
Mhm.
it's kind of nice. You're like, oh, this is what it's like
Yeah.
to, be an attractive woman, I guess, maybe. It's like a little
Yeah.
dip in the water. There was I don't know if I really want to get into the story, but I have a good story about going to a gay club with in college.
Mhm.
It was so my girlfriend at the time, my ex, we were in a K-pop dance team together, right? And so a
Mhm.
lot of we were about maybe a dozen of us. We all went together, and these are like K-pop dancers in college. They're very like shy and timid. So being at a gay club was like like they're seeing like guys in banana hammocks and just naked, just dancing at go,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh my God, don't look!" And so me having been on a comp team as well, like I was dancing, I was feeling the vibes, and I was like I was explicitly dancing very femme. I was
Mhm.
whacking, I was like
Mhm.
voguing, I was just like very um, okay. Maybe it's baiting, but I was just like, all right, I'm in the zone, right? My ex at the time, she was kind of oblivious, right? Just whatever.
Yeah.
And so as I'm dancing and I'm feeling myself, like this guy, I see him like in my peripherals, like he's trying to make eye contact, but I'm like, I know what he's doing, so I'm not going to, right? And so the whole night is like that. And then
I'm not gonna give you
eventually,
what you want.
exactly,
No.
exactly. And then I accidentally make eye contact, and he looks at me and he goes, and I'm like, oh fuck, okay, well I looked, I gotta go over. So I walk over to him. I don't know why. I'm just like, fuck it, let's just go. And so as I'm walking towards him, he comes up to me and he goes, hey, and I'm like, hi. And he's like, you're a really good dancer. I'm like, thank you. And he's like, are you gay? I'm like, no. And then as we're talking, his friend
Mhm.
flanks me, and so now he's on the side, and he's getting really close. First guy's also really close, and he's like, want to give me a kiss? I'm like, I no, I'm not gay. And he's like, do you have a girlfriend? I was like, yeah, she's over there. He's like, no, I think you're gay. I was like, I'm not. So I'm still talking, and my friends are over there like, what's JR doing over there? And then they're like, they were telling my girlfriend, they're like, I think you should go save him. And she's like, I don't know what's going on. Like, what? Like, this is a new experience to me. Eventually, I'm getting the order wrong, but I know at one point he kisses me on the cheek, and it's like scruffy. And as a guy, you're not used to, as a straight guy, you're not used to other guys kissing you.
Mhm.
So like I feel all that. And then this other guy, he's like groping me, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And so eventually my girlfriend pulls me away,
Yeah.
and she's like, what's going on? I'm like, I don't know. And she's like, why'd you go? And I'm like, I don't know. I just wanted to, I'm just like, fuck it, let's just go. Oh, another weird thing. I was coming from, I don't know why I had a large banana in my pocket. So
Oh.
we we had we went
Oh.
we went to the
Was it the UCLA
commons.
banana?
Okay,
I feel like
so it was from
every
UCI. Okay, so we were coming from UCI because we're all from UCI, right?
Ah,
And
okay.
we had eaten, and I was like, "Oh, let me take this banana." But then by the time we got to WeHo, I was like, "I don't know what to do with this. Should I just put it in my pocket, or like, do you want it?" And my friend's like, "No." So like, all right, I should put it in my pocket. And so I think I was walking around the club with a huge banana in my pocket, and so that probably did not help the whole guys coming after me.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's one of my favorite stories, and I don't regret it. It was just
Do you
very
just
strange.
happen to have like a warm banana in your pocket, you're gonna walk into a
Yeah.
gay club, you're like, "Yeah, yeah, this is
Yeah.
the
You
move."
know, I wasn't even thinking about how it could be risky. I was just like, okay, I don't want to throw this away. I want to eat it later. Let me just put it in my pocket. And then after this whole interaction being flanked by these two guys happened, I was like, okay, maybe the banana, maybe they saw that there's something in my pocket. I don't know. But yeah, but it was a lot of fun. And needless to say, I went back several times after that. So it was not a bad experience.
Yeah, yeah. Does not
But
deter you.
anyways, it did not deter me. In fact, I was like, hey, do you guys want to go again? They're like, you just want to get hit on. I'm like, yeah, I do. Of course I do.
Yeah, yeah, actually, yeah. A matter of fact.
Yeah, as a matter of fact. But yeah, so I have good experiences. But anyways, let's go back to you. All right, so you work as a promoter, bartender, and all this other stuff. I think one of the things that we were talking about beforehand is like working with Korean entertainment and hosting idols and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Um, I want to ask either how did that happen or is just naturally working at those companies? And then maybe do you have any interesting experiences or stories you want to share?
I work at a club in K-Town that's known for like exclusive, like if you know, you know, because the people who own the club and the people that run the club are highly, highly connected, especially to the Korean entertainment industry. Some of the people that own the club are like in the industry itself. So because they have so many connections, a lot of K-pop idols, whenever they're in LA, they tend to go to Intercrew. We have like a private area for them. So they're not like partying with like the rest of like K-Town. Like they're in their own area sometimes. The whole venue will be booked out just for like private people, private events and stuff like that. But I would say that like every once in a while I'll just like get a notification that like, "Oh, by the way, this like idol from this group is here. Like, do you want to go meet them?" And I'm like, can I? Do I need to sign an NDA? They're like, you're not stupid enough to say something. I'm like, okay. But yeah, at a certain point, like it was especially crazy during KCON weekend because we were I had to help out with like some idols that were in the private spaces as well as some other idols and groups that wanted to come and actually party, but we're like, we're so sorry, we are at full capacity. Like we've been at full capacity 30 minutes since opening. So unless you're paying for like a private like space, like I'm sorry, you just can't get in. Like you gotta, unfortunately, I need to say no to some of these people, and I'm like, I don't want to say no, but I'm gonna have to say no. Or like I get my boss to say no for me because I'm like, hey, they're your clients, not mine. Don't make me say no to these people. And he's like, okay, no. And I'm like, okay, yeah, what he said.
You're like, I'm not calling the shots. I'm
I'm not
just
calling it,
working.
hey, not my circus. I'm just a monkey.
Yeah. Um, do you have any like, I guess, the do's and don'ts and what you've learned about hosting celebrities, idols, famous people,
Hmm.
and kind of being in that back room sort of environment?
Yeah, I would say like the biggest thing that it's not really something that I've learned, but you got to be a part of like a select group of people who already inherently know how to make these decisions yourself. Like there shouldn't be somebody to tell you like, hey, don't tell anybody about this. Like there is like an atmosphere of secrecy, I would say, but it's like don't go telling everybody like your client's business, and that should be applied to like any like professional job, to be honest, where you need to like help people in hospitality. And with that, I do believe that I just bring the vibes. Like my job is to bring the vibes. I'm not there to like technically I am there to book tables and like all that stuff, but I'm here to bring the vibes, you know, good vibes. And I will kick people out if I have to, and I have. Because some people, I don't care how much followers you have, and this is a very frequent thing, especially in K-Town. I don't care how much followers you have, and I don't care how much money you have. If you're causing like a wreck inside the club and you're treating people incorrectly, you gotta go. Like I am like down to like tell people like no, you gotta go. And like fortunately for everybody, like I am that person that's like because I've been treated horribly at the club that I work at because people know that I don't know that I work there and I'm well connected. So they will treat me all sorts of way. Like they'll um try to like bully me, sexually harass me and things like that. And as soon as I tell my boss and he comes around, they're like, oh, I didn't know you work here. Oh, how you doing? I'm like, okay, you still gotta go because I don't like the switch up that's happening.
Hmm. I mean, like, regardless if you work there or not, they shouldn't be,
Yes,
treating people like that,
exactly.
right?
Yeah. So there are some people who would treat you worse if they know that you're a staff, and there are some people who will treat you worse if they think that you're just a regular person. They think that they're either way, they think they're better than you. And listen, unless you pay my bills, you are not better than me.
Yeah. Does that happen often? Or I don't know if that's a good question, but like how often does that happen or like the people you meet?
Um, Luckily, I feel like I've curated a certain bubble around me because I don't seem approachable to most people. I seem intimidating. And I do that on purpose because it's like, especially when I'm working and I look like I'm just a regular club goers, I don't want people to hit on me. I don't want people to be like, hey, hey, hey. So I do create both a physical and like appearance wise like bubble around me. So people know like don't approach. Don't approach. Sometimes I will have like a physical wall of like 6 feet tall, like K-Town guys just around me, just so like nobody else will approach me because I'm like, I'm feeding them shots. They'll do whatever I tell them to do. They're like, yeah, sure,
Yeah.
whatever you want.
Yeah. You're working, you're like creating the vibes, right? You don't have time
Mm-hmm.
for people to bother you.
Yeah.
Them
And
yeah.
yeah. And like or sometimes especially when guys get really drunk and you see them be very aggressive towards a girl, like when they're coming on to her. I saw that happen right in front of my eyes at the bar area, and he was like looming over. She's like 5'2", 5'3". He's like 6'2", looming over her, like coming towards her. She's like backing up, and there are like these guys around us who are also really tall. I see that they're not doing anything about it. I had to come in, like hand on his chest, push him away, be like, "Hey, yo, back the fuck off." And then I physically, because he's drunk, so I physically took him, turned him around, and just moved him away. And he just started walking that direction. I'm like, okay, now I gotta comfort like a crying girl. But that's generally what I do. Like it's on the smaller scale, not like
Yeah.
I'm DJing and like I gotta keep the whole vibes going.
Right, of course, of course. Like just in your space.
Yeah.
I want to ask two different um pathways, right? First
Mm,
is as someone who is a specialist in the nightlife scene and expert, um, if there's someone who wants to get into this space, and let's say they
mm.
are like a younger woman and they're like, oh, I kind of think I want to try out like nightlife and hosting or bartending or whatever, do you have any pieces of advice that you would give to that person?
I would say that it's really hard to do if you're an introvert because there's a lot of learned skills that you just need to incorporate to be able to do your job well. That's why most promoters are very like eccentric and they're very extroverted because they like talking to people. They like having um making new connections, new friends, stuff like that. And like I if I see somebody that looks approachable and they look interesting or some sort, I'm like I always think somebody has a story to tell. I will directly approach them and say and introduce myself and say like, "Hey, what's up?" Because I don't mind doing that, but as an introvert, you want to get into nightlife, it's very much just like, what can you do? What can you do? Like, are you a really good DJ? Because if so, you still need to know how to read the room. You still need to know how to network. That's the biggest part of nightlife is networking. And the second biggest part is handling your alcohol because you are in nightlife. There's alcohol everywhere. It's offered to you left and right as an employee. And you gotta be one, either know how to handle it or know how to say no. Especially when you're on the job, you cannot get messy, you cannot get drunk. Luckily, when I am on the job, I haven't gotten messy or drunk. And knock on wood, let's keep it that way. And Yeah, I would say like it just comes naturally to a lot of people, but it is good to know how to properly network in a situation that's not professional, like nightlife.
Okay. So you mentioned networking. Are there any other specific metrics that make you a successful promoter?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah.
I'll l- I'll be honest, it's because I'm pretty. Like, pretty privilege has gotten me this far in life because people see me and they hand things to me. Like, I got my job handed to me because I was pretty and I was nice and I was approachable in that moment. And so I'm not saying that you need to look a certain way to be able to work in nightlife or be in nightlife, but you do need to know how to handle yourself and look like somebody who wants to party and knows how to party. So like I have shown up in like drabby clothing, but because I am so like I genuinely enjoy the music. Like I love hip hop, I love R&B, and that's usually why I go to the club. I don't Not the biggest fan of EDM, so I go to the club for like hip hop and R&B nights. And I'm still having a blast. I'm still having a vibe. I have a drink in my hand, and that's what people appreciate. So I would say like because of my general demeanor, like I am a stereotypically like pretty girl who people would want to approach. It draws a lot of people in, and fortunately for me, that is good business.
Okay. So the metrics for being a good promoter is basically how well you bring in people and I guess give them a good experience or help create a good environment for them to have a good experience, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
So like I would like there are people who are like it's all about like using your brains and your skills or whatever, but I do think that like there are some people who like do need to acknowledge that their looks have gotten them very far without having to do much. And for me, that was a lot of that. Like my looks got me through it got me through a lot of doors, but um it was for me at least like I think it was something that fell very naturally to me. So I do work hard, but it's not like I'm like clawing my way and it's like a big struggle. Like I'm having a blast, to be honest. So yeah.
Nice. And I'm sure part of that is like what you mentioned, you feel at home in that environment and it's like a
Hmm.
natural place for you to thrive and you feel good. So I'm sure that naturally lends to you being a good promoter and setting the vibes right. That makes sense. So the other side I wanted to go to was like maybe this isn't also not a good question, but now speaking to the guys,
Hmm.
hmm, how do I approach this? I the the very rudimentary question is if you're giving advice to guys on how to successfully I don't want to say approach girls in the club because again maybe that's
Hmm.
not the point, but I'm sure there are a lot of guys who might be thinking,
Hmm.
okay, I go to the club, I obviously want to meet girls,
Hmm.
and as someone who is an expert in the scene, you know the
Yes.
do's and don'ts of that. So do you have any
Yes.
advice for the fellas who are trying to be successful picking up girls, I guess, in the club?
Yes. Number one, smell good. Like don't like douse cologne all over yourself, but like girls can tell when you're not wearing deodorant. That's a big one. And depending on which club you're at, be very presentable. Like if you're at like somewhere a little bit more high end, a little bit harder to get in, act like act and dress like you're supposed to be there. Don't be messy, don't look frumpy. And if you're in a space that's a lot more like party like and hip hop and like then like dress more cool, put more effort into the way that you look cuz like girls do pick that up. And not only the girls, but their friends pick that up. So you don't only need like the girls like whichever girl you're approaching, you don't need just her approval, but her friends cuz she could be drunk as hell. So you're gonna default to their friends. They're all looking at you. And so I would say like just put a lot more effort into how you approach a girl. And if you want to dance with her, not on her. Too many guys would just go up to a girl behind their back and just start touching and dancing all up on them. That's not okay. That's not okay. That's a sneak attack. Actually, be in front of them. ask them if they want to dance, and if they say no, then that's okay. Move on. Um, so I would say another thing is a lot of guys play like the numbers game. They think it's quantity over quality. But at the end of the day, if the girls see you hit on every other girl in the club, they're also going to turn you down. So you might be doing quantity over quality, but that quantity is zero. A lot of things about that. I have so many opinions, so
Yeah, yeah.
many like
No, no, I mean, I like it. Do you have any more pro
yes,
tips?
if you're a dude, don't be on an elevated platform. That's such a big ick. If you're on an elevated platform, you better be shaking. Can I cuss on here?
Go ahead. You already did,
Moder,
so.
you better be out. You better be shaking ass. And I'll tell people that too. Like if I see them like on an elevated platform, just standing there drinking their hand, trying to like go hunt for a girl, like we could tell that you're doing that. First of all, get off. And number two, you're not gonna get off. Go shake some ass.
So like they're there when not shaking ass, they're there to like scope.
Yeah, like
Is that what you're
there's
saying?
a big epidemic of like guys like standing on chairs and tables at the club. Like that should be like the girl's space to dance. But instead, all you see like 2 feet, like an extra 2 feet in the air, just all like these dudes not doing anything, and it's a bummer. It's a big bummer.
Mm, kills the vibes. So
Kills the vibe.
they're
It's
on
this is
they're on those chairs
national.
yeah. So it's
Yeah,
to scope out people, or are they just trying to look cool, or what's the point? Because like
a
I can't
little bit
imagine
of
why I would.
both. Yeah,
Yeah,
a little bit of both, and it's like it's not just like K Town or LA or anything like that. This is like nationwide. It's like a nationwide thing, and I've seen a lot of girls complain about it where music's not good, and the DJ is playing for the dudes, and the dudes go there for the girls, but the girls are not happy. Like there's no music that they can dance to, and there's no space that they can dance in. So that's also a big reason why I think club culture is dying.
I see. I see. Yeah, see, I can't even imagine why I would ever find myself on a chair or an elevated platform. Again, it's just me. I actually go to the clubs to dance, but
Hmm.
yes, I'm like, why would you just like then leave? I don't know,
Then
go somewhere
leave.
else.
Then leave.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
I've kicked people out of DJ booths because they weren't dancing.
Yeah,
Then
I mean, you
leave.
might as well. Yeah, if you're on the stage or something, you might as well dance. Hmm. Okay. One other thing that you mentioned that I wanted to touch on was you said getting lost in the glitz and glamour.
Hmm.
Do you wanna like elaborate on that?
Um, yeah. So being in nightlife, like it's so fun. It's partying. It's good music. It's meeting at lunch. It's meeting a lot of people, but it's also so much alcohol and so much drugs. Like me personally, I do drink a lot, but I don't do drugs. It's not for me. I don't judge people who do for the most part. Because that's sort of just like the culture of being in nightlife. Like you're bound to know people who do things. You're bound to know people who sell things. And those two vices are very accessible. They're very extremely accessible, and it's so easy to it's not even peer pressure because nobody's saying, oh my God, no, you should totally do it. No, no, go ahead, go ahead. There's nobody saying that, to be honest, because if you say, oh no, thank you, they're gonna back off. But I think for the most part, if you don't have a strong sense of boundary or a sense of self, you there's a lot of people I know who don't know how to say no, and they fall into that. But again, it's very much a lifestyle choice. It's a very hard, like drugs, especially nicotine, smoking, vaping. Those are all extremely hard things to um let go of, especially like if you're already in the scene and you're at an after party and people are doing cocaine, you're like, well, I mean, there's nothing left to do and everybody's doing that, and then like maybe I should do it.
Mm,
S- Give somebody 10 minutes in like the nightlife scene, like somebody's gonna offer you drugs. It's extremely accessible, it's extremely easy. And then there's also the case of just like meeting people with influence, and then all of a sudden they have influence over you. That's also a big part of it. For me, I've met a lot of influential people or just influencers in general. So both like people who are extremely well connected, like stuff like that, and I've also met people who just, your run of the mill influencers, streamers, Instagram models, stuff like that. And I've grown to be able to determine like, is this person somebody who's good for me to be around? Not on like a social scale. Like obviously, like if you know somebody who is of like importance and influence, especially in LA, then like a lot of people want to social climb. That's okay. That's not for me though. I know what I want, I know what I need, I know the kind of people that I want to be around. And sometimes it is like people who are well connected and I just happen to vibe with them. But there are people who you see just fall into like a cycle of social climbing because they think that like there's might be stability in their career and their finances through like these channels, but at the end of the day you're sacrificing a lot of yourself in the process for these people who are just people with cameras at the end of the day, like to be honest.
Mhm. What like I don't know if I can wrap my head around that, but like
Hmm.
what is the end goal to social climb, or like does that even work? Like I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Honestly, I do think social climbing does work, but you got to be real hungry for whatever that is.
So what does
And
that entail?
it entails a lot of like, you got to be able to go to these parties and these events to meet all these people, then go to the after party that can go until like 6 in the morning, possibly do some drugs along the way, and then be at the beck and call of whoever has like the highest amount of followers so you can maybe work under them, collaborate with them, stuff like that, and gain more traction for yourself.
Okay, so it's just like a networking strategy, quote unquote. And
Hmm.
if you get into those people's circle, you could have opportunities to work with them or get your name out there or whatever your goal is.
Yeah. Um,
Okay.
like in LA, you can do things, I would say that's the easy way. Social climbing is very easy, to be honest. But people also sense insincerity from a mile away.
Right.
So you could either approach people with sincerity and be like, "Hey, I'm like I would like to get to know you," or "Hey, I would like to work with you." Or you could approach them insincerely, say, "Oh, I'm such a big fan." Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. People can sense a mile away. Like they like at a certain point, you got to know how to approach certain people correctly to accurately get what you want. Either like if you do want a social climb or you want like opportunities or anything like that. Everybody is very picky. People are very picky. So you gotta know like the kind of person to approach. Because for me, um, because I would say I'm well connected within the nightlife scene, if people just ask me like, "Hey, can you introduce me to some people?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can." Like, what do you need in particular? Like, are you a photographer and you want to like start shooting nightlife? Like, are you a DJ? You want to start like DJing at like these venues? I can help you with that. Or like come to me sincerely, like you want more job opportunities, I can help you with that. But they're just like, oh, like I just want to like hang out with you. But turns out they want to meet the people that I hang out. I know what they're trying to do. So just, play
Yeah,
your
like if they
cards
have an
correctly,
ulterior
to be
motive.
honest. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So I guess that's the takeaway then is like I guess if you're trying to network or climb the social ladder is be authentic because people can sense that.
Yeah. Be authentic and also like try to meet the right people. It's always quantity over quality when it comes to networking. Because you can meet somebody with like 300 followers on Instagram, but their phone contacts have like the craziest like influencers and celebrities and like business owners on there. So be nice to everybody and just try to just gauge who you want around you and who you want in your life that will actually improve it in a good way.
That makes sense. I feel like my thoughts on that is like, okay, networking, climbing the social ladder, etc. That's a skill in itself, and yeah, that is an opportunity to improve your whatever goals you're trying to hit. I think, like what you're saying, it's very important to figure out what you want, how to
Mm-hmm.
approach it the right way, and that kind of like attracts like. Like if you're going out there with this vibe of desperation, maybe you might successfully be in that social circle with that person who also wants desperate people around them. But is
Mm-hmm.
that really the crowd or that person you want to be around, as opposed to like you're really set on building something, being transparent, having integrity, and then going after those people and trying to join their networks and build each other up, right? Those are different vibes, but it depends on self-awareness, right? That makes sense. Okay. Uh, Sort of unrelated, but also sort of really related. So you mentioned hosting Hongdae Guy, Sean Solo, and again, if we can cut any of this out, if it turns out like it's not a good conversation, but I want to ask about you mentioned the unofficial KCON after party and then hosting him and then that whole process. Do you have any good stories or that process that you want to share?
Um, so luckily for me already, Sean, aka Hongdae guy, he makes all these skits around the stereotype of um, like Korea's fuckboy, so the Hongdae guy. And he himself, I've come to find out, is actually like very introverted. Um, he is friends with one of my friend, and I reached out to my friend. I was like, "Hey, can you bring Sean to the club that I work at this weekend?" He's like, "Actually, yeah, I wanted to show him like K-Town nightlife." And I was like, "Oh, sweet. Yes, please bring him. Let me know for sure. Is there any way that can we advertise that he is like somehow like making a guest appearance there?" And I had to work with him, and then through a manager and all that, I secured a spot, and that got super advertised last minute, where people were packing up the place. Like the line was out the door well before the doors already open. So 30 minutes, we opened at 10:30. It was already full capacity. I thought that my friend was just gonna bring Sean and that's it. Nobody told me that Sean brought a whole crew with him, because my friend and Sean are gotta be at my table. My table's already, we're chilling, right? The club's already packed, and I see like a group of like 15 people roll up with Sean. I'm like, no, 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 no. I was already stressed. I was yelling at my boss. I was yelling at my managers, my heads, like my boss. I was yelling at everybody. At a certain point, I said, after I got Sean settled, I brought him and my friend in first, and then everybody just gotta wait it out, wait for people to leave and stuff. Um, I texted my works group chat because honestly, I get away with a lot because I'm just like I'm low key the personality hire, and I told everybody. I was like, because like there's been the fire alarm gets set off every once in a while because our smoke machine just did a little too much. So I texted my group chat, and I said, nobody need me for the next 20 minutes, or I will show you I will set this place on fire and show you a real fire alarm. And I was dead serious about it too. Like one of my coworkers, he didn't read the group chat, and he went up to me and asked me something, and I literally just went like,
Did you not read?
don't fuck with me right now. And he was like, what did I do? And I just walked away. I walked away before I found like a lighter from anybody who smokes a cigarette there. Oh my God, that was crazy. I was so stressed that night because it was so busy. It was KCON weekend, and then there was like another festival or like rave happening that weekend too. And so the place was just busy, packed. Some of my friends from San Diego came to see me, and I was like, hey guys, hey guys, hey guys, bye guys, bye guys, bye guys. I was running like a headless chicken. And then eventually, I got the groove of things. Security got the groove of things, door people. and I was like, all right, I'm good now. I'm good now. I have a little alcohol in my system. I calmed down. I'm enjoying the music. Nobody fucking touch me. I'm enjoying the music. Yeah, this is why I bring the vibes. Because if you leave me in charge of like actual like logistic things while I'm in the venue, don't. Not, it usually doesn't work
Yeah.
out well for me.
Mm. So, like, was it mostly just because it was super packed and you had to just like manage
Yeah,
the whole situation?
it was super packed, and Sean was the biggest like guest that we have in the house who made a public appearance. And in the meanwhile, in like the backside of it, we were taking care of like some K-pop idols too. So on like both fronts, I'm like, fuck, nobody asking for anything right now, please.
Mm. So is it mostly just like trying to make sure nothing goes wrong and making sure everything is
Yeah.
like running smoothly and all that? Mm.
Yeah,
Right.
because like unfortunately like it is one of those situations where I will be prioritizing this person because they have more money and more influence than you. Sorry, that's my guest. That is my guest. I will be taking care of them. Everybody else, you need to wait in line. Full capacity. We are done. We're good.
I would imagine too, like obviously you want to take care of those sort of VIP clients because you want them to have a good experience and you don't want
Mhm.
them to tell other people and be like, no, that club is really trash. Like they don't
Yeah,
take
like
care
they're
of their
very
guests
like
at all.
unprofessional, like they don't take care of us. Like, yeah.
It makes a lot of sense. What is Sean like? I mean, I only see his videos, obviously. Maybe most people have.
He's so
Yeah, what is he?
quiet. But
Oh
he's
yeah.
very nice. Like he knows that like people are there to see him. Unfortunately, like people are just there are some people I saw online that were like, "Oh my God, this is the Hongdae guy. Apparently he makes like funny videos online. I took a photo with him." I'm like, "Okay, you don't really want a photo with him. That you don't know who this guy is. Walk away." Because there's plenty of
Oh,
people who know who he is. They actually like are a fan of him. They like him, they like his work. And he took a photo with everybody that asked him. And
that's nice.
everybody asked him for a photo. Like he's super nice, but he is very just like he's very chill. Like the leather jacket isn't on, you know? He's
Mm,
very chill, he's very quiet, a little nonchalant, mildly afraid, I would say, of the situation.
I bet. Yeah,
Yeah.
being like swarmed by everybody.
Yeah.
Um, is he? I don't really know his like story, but is he like from Korea?
He's from Korea, yeah, but I'm not too sure if he's lived in America, but I know he is fluent in like English and he has like a grasp of American culture. I'm not too sure
Right.
if I think he moved to Korea, but don't quote me on that. Like I really don't know.
Right. Right. No,
Yeah.
yeah. I only ask because I'm also like kind of wondering as well, because like he seems like his accent or when he's speaking in like that sort of American, it's like okay, sounds
Hmm.
good. Maybe he just moved there or something like
Yeah.
that, or maybe he's from Korea or he's like you said, maybe he lived abroad or something. I was just curious if you knew.
Hmm. Yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't get to talk to him much. I was basically
You're working,
scheduling him and like working with him through like a messenger essentially.
right? That makes sense. Okay. Anything else on that topic? Otherwise, I want to switch to dating. That's another hot topic.
Yeah. Let's move on to that.
Sweet. Okay. So, how's your dating life? I guess we can start with that if you want to share.
Well, I feel like at this point, I'm trying to just like level up on like who I can bag. Cause like
Okay, it's fair.
I'm not I feel I was at the point where um like I was in a relationship for like 5 years. I was a monogamous girly, like serial monogamist, like long term relationships after long term relationships. And then at some point I'm like, okay, let me explore something new. And now I am dating just to date. Like I'm not even like looking to like marry anybody and like get into anything serious. So I decided, okay, let me hop on Hinge, see what is up. And then for a while, nothing was up. It's a little like I was a little jaded, I'm not gonna lie. And then good compatible people started popping up. I went on a couple of dates here and there, and they were all right, but I would say it is a little, I would say it would be a lot more rough for people who aren't as avid in this kind of like socialization when it comes to dating. Like, I feel like going on dates, flirting, and all that stuff is very second nature to me. But like, I will definitely have friends who are like, I don't even know how to make a profile. Like, thinking of making profile frightens me, and I'm like, okay, give me your phone, let me do it for you. Or they're like, what do I say? What do I say? What do I say? I'm like, say this, and they're like, you're a genius. I'm like, because I think working in nightlife, I've gotten so used to like flirting with people. I'm not gonna lie. I also have just a very like flirty personality in general. I like to tease people, like things like that. And so that translates very well when it comes to like meeting new people, dating, whatever, whatever. And there's just, I feel like there has been a little bit of like an epidemic of like quick rejections. Like you see, you're looking to find like something wrong with a person who does like seemingly have like everything correct. Like they say one thing that's like mildly off, and immediately like it's almost like a self-sabotage. Like everything is going correct, you're looking for something to go wrong. And if it's not going wrong, then you're gonna make something go wrong. And I do think that like I would say like recently like dating is harder than it has been even like 10, 15 years ago because of like the online dating space. Everybody wants to just swipe, 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 see who they match with, see who likes them back, and then that's about it. Like nobody typically engages anymore because there's such a huge either um like option fatigue, which is what I have. Um not to toot my own horn because I have so many options.
Too many options.
You know? Or there's no option at all because like your profile will show up for less than 1 second and people have already determined how they feel about you and things like that.
Mm. Okay, two things from that then. Thoughts on dating apps versus like meeting someone in person, especially someone like yourself who has a huge network and you're out
Mhm.
there a lot, and so you meet a lot of people, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And but you mentioned specifically you're also on dating apps, so that dating apps versus in person, but then also, um, like I guess if you have a lot of options, like what is your current intention or strategy with dating at the moment?
Mhm. Um, so for the first question, I would say I definitely rather just meet somebody like randomly and get to know them and then like determine if I want to go on a date with them because at least at that point you already generally know their vibes, you know how they talk, you know how they are with people, especially you. So I've like gone on dates with people that I've met in nightlife or just like in my everyday life that I just come across the last me on a date. I'm like, you know what? Yeah. And I'll have a good time. Whereas meeting someone for the first time on a date is scary. It's scary, especially as a woman. Scary. And, like sometimes I'm like, ooh, I want them to pick me up, but that I would have no personal form of transportation in case things go wrong, or like anything like that, or like, oh my god, I'm gonna give this person my address so they know where I live. Like, there's a huge risk factor in that. But like if you're not in any environment where it allows you to meet new people, it is very hard. Sometimes, like, you do need to resort to online dating. And through that, you do need to make more effort to get to know people. Um, that's why like, I'm not personally into like sharing my Instagram because I don't think everybody, especially strangers on the internet, should know me, my personal dailies like that. I just, text them on the app, yada, yada, yada. How's your day? And if they reciprocate with that kind of energy, then that's good. But yeah. But for the follow-up question was, what was it
Like your
again?
personal, yeah, like your personal intention or dating space. Like, what are you looking
hmm
for? What are you trying to do?
Yeah, I think right now when it comes to like what I'm looking for, what I'm trying to do when it comes to like my romantic life is just seeing who I could. This is a personal challenge for me at this point. I just want to see who's like the best catch for me. I want to like I almost went on a date with like a minor celebrity recently, and I was like, this is pretty easy. I'm not gonna lie. So let's aim even higher. I feel like I've had like a long history of aiming very low and dating like people who don't treat me well. I'm like, hey, maybe I should date people who are more in my caliber and or higher. I don't think there's anybody higher than my caliber, to be honest. The only people who are higher, like within my caliber or higher, are my friends. And at that point, I'd rather go on a date with my friends.
Okay, so how do you define like aiming high? Because I
hmm
know you personally, right? Like, I don't think that you highly value just fame, obviously.
hmm
It's the caliber of person, like you're saying.
Yeah.
So I guess personally, what are you looking for in terms of high caliber?
I would say this is a this is what I think. Whatever I can provide for myself and whatever my friends can provide, you need to aim higher than that. And right now there are like barely people who are meeting me here. Because whatever I got for myself, I got for myself. Like I'm good. Like I don't need the money. I don't need like this and that. Like if I want to go to like a nice restaurant, I can take myself and my friends and we'll have like a nice meal together. So that's at least like the minimum of what I'm looking for when it comes to like effort, like the same like social circles or like anything like that. And I'm done now that like I'm 25. I'm turning 26 soon. I've looked back on the kind of people that I've allowed into my life and how much worse my life got. And I really need to just like lock in with myself and say like, is my life better or worse with this person around? And I'm really trying to be around people who make my life better. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people who haven't accepted that mindset yet, and they're okay with being sad or like that person they have in their life making them sad, making their life worse because they'd rather be with that person than be by themselves.
Okay, so generally being a provider, but also like elevating your life in whatever way makes sense, like making your life better and etc. back and forth.
Mm-hmm. Because it's like, no, you seem hesitant on that. Do you have any follow-up questions? You trying to wrap your brain around that?
I think Yeah, no, I think it's because I get the general vibe of what you're saying, but
Mm-hmm.
my analytical brain is looking for specifics, right? And
Okay.
maybe there are none, and maybe for you it
Yeah.
is just general feelings.
Mm-hmm. Because it's like, yeah, sometimes like feelings are feelings, but if you think about like on emotions, feelings, all that fluffy stuff aside, you talk logistically. If there are people who can't really contribute to my life that helps me evolve as a person or makes my life easier, then I would typically not really search for that, especially in a romantic partner.
Okay,
Because like
that
I've fallen
makes
for
sense to
people
me.
just to fall for people. Like I've like fallen in love for like no particular reason besides like, oh, I feel really giddy, but then I realized I locked in and I was like, oh, but when I'm not around them or like I'm not really that good. And sometimes when I am around them, I get sad. And that's not right. So here we are. I'm just doing things for the fun of it.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
dating
all
for the
good.
love of the game.
Sometimes that's what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's like that, you know what I mean? Okay, I want to go into now your second specialty, which is crafting dating profiles, I guess. Um, do you have any tips for us then if you're helping your friends to,
Okay.
to improve their game?
Yes. Okay. So my specialty is Hinge profiles specifically. If anybody who's reading this and they have a Hinge profile, you're wondering why you're not getting enough likes and or matches, don't include photos with other people. I feel like that should be the number one rule. Whenever I'm swiping through Hinge and I see a group photo, I don't want to be guessing which one you are. Especially when it's the first photo, I don't want to be guessing which one you are. No, absolutely not. I'm swiping immediately. Cause like most of the time, it's the worst looking person in the photo. Do
That's
you want to
yeah.
be the worst looking worst looking person in a photo? Because that's what people will think of you. Like, imagine like,
It's
oh,
like,
I hope
why
this
are you
is
trying to
person.
hide
I hope
yourself?
it's this person. I hope this. I hope this is the cute one on the right. No, and it's not. Like, do you want people's reaction of you to be like that? I think that's sad. To prevent that, only include solo photos of yourself.
What if it's like the fourth or fifth photo is like a group photo and it seems like a fun photo or something? I don't know.
Do you? It's sure it's fine. I personally wouldn't want to risk somebody messaging me. Who's your friend on the left?
Oh, I see, I see.
Mm-hmm,
So just to
mm-hmm,
mitigate
mm-hmm.
risk, like, look, you're only looking at one person in this
Me,
profile, and it's
me
me.
and me only. This is my profile.
Yeah,
You can meet the
cool.
friends at the wedding.
Right. Okay, any other tips? So no group photos. What else?
No good photos. Show personality, but not too much personality. Like,
What does that mean?
um, like I would like you can show that you have a hobby by like saying, "Oh, I do this," or "Here's a photo of me of like my hobby." Like if you like to paint, then here's like a painting that I did or whatever. But if I'm scrolling through and all I see are like one photo of them and it's not a good photo either, and then it's like memes and like their cat and then da 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 da, and I'm not seeing like what they look like, that's also a big red flag to be honest. Because like I can find out what you're into by talking to you, but right now I need to see what you look like. So like
Okay,
show some
so
personality,
hobbies.
but not too much. Not too
Yeah,
much. Save that for the conversations.
personality and that personality is like manifesting in what you're showcasing of like what you do, your hobbies, or what
Mm-hmm.
you're like.
Yeah, like I can
Okay.
easily indicate the music genres that I'm into, what I like to do for fun. I people know that I like K-pop, I like dancing, I like cosplay simply through the photos and the videos that I choose. And then we could talk about that, but it's still like photos and videos of me doing those things. So they have a good idea of what I look like as well as like the things that I'm into.
Okay. Okay, so I don't know if this advice would be specifically for guys or girls, but let's say this person is not just traditionally attractive. What are
Uh-huh.
some things people can do to spice up their dating profile?
Be earnest. Be earnest. There
Like how
are
so?
there are profiles with no information about themselves at all. Like how like I don't even know like where your hometown is. I don't know what your political affiliation is. I don't know what you're into. And if I'm already not physically attracted to you, you also seem like you have a bland personality because I don't know anything else about you that I would want to start a conversation with.
Mm, okay, so have
And
some depth. Try to showcase that.
yeah, sometimes if you are a guy and you're into girls, let me tell you this, girls like yearners. One of my favorite pickup lines, and I've responded to this guy, even though I wasn't really that attracted to him. I wanted to have a conversation. He said, "You look like the type of girl that I would build a house for."
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna
Build a
respond to
house
that.
for.
I've heard a lot of pickup lines that I've never heard of before. And I think that's really funny. So like when you pique my interest like that, I'm like, okay, what's up?
Do you have any other examples of good ones that worked?
Please, 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 please.
Really?
You have like a 50-50 shot of that working. Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
are not bad odds.
Yeah.
A- Anything else?
Mm, what else? Should I just like go through my hinge right now and see what like, accept somebody? But yeah, like somebody once said like I would like I don't remember exactly what they said like word for word, but they're not usually my type, but because of their message and how earnest they were, like they like girls don't it going on a dating app for girls already feels horrible enough because it feels like you're an option for somebody else. And nobody wants to feel like an option. So if you approach somebody, especially somebody you very much find attractive and you want to get to know them or go on a date with them or whatever, literally give them the world, beg for them, yearn for them, say that you will give them everything they want. You can have a good chance, good shot.
Gotcha. So make them feel like they're the only girl on the app.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense.
There's too many
I want to
nonchalant
ask
people
now.
out there.
I mean that checks out too, right? Because if you're nonchalant, it's going to be a lose lose anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I want to ask now for the last question, I guess, is now that you are on the date, first date, maybe second or third, pro tips, guys or girls? Anything come to mind?
Mm-hmm. Don't lie about your height. I went on a date with this guy who said that he was 5'6". Why were we eye level?
So
Because
what's the height difference?
I don't know, but he was shorter than 5'6". So like I'm 5'2". And I don't mind going on a date. I've dated like 5'4". Like it doesn't matter to me. But what mattered was like the guy off the bat was already lying
He
about
lied, yeah.
something. It's like if you're lying about your height, what else are you gonna lie about? What else about you that like you're misleading me about? So that was a little odd for me. But overall, like if you're a guy, be a gentleman, and if you're a girl, be active with like conversing with people. Like, you know, like there are plenty of people who just go on a date for the free meal and like, listen, much love to you guys, but like if you do want to be like a good date, what's if you want to be considered a good date for somebody, like be engaging, hold good conversations, go a little bit beyond small talk, but if it's like the first date, like obviously you're still getting to know them. Um, I do think that like after COVID, there's plenty of people out there who just don't know how to socialize with new people, unfortunately. Brush up on your social skills, learn how to converse with people regularly. I have been on a date with a guy who just very much showed me that he didn't care about the date. Like this was like a fully an afterthought for him. He asked me like how tall I was, how old I was, where I lived, what I do for work and all that. I'm like, this was all information readily available on my profile. He's like, "Oh yeah, I didn't read it." Huh?
Wow, so attractive.
Why would you tell me that? Like you don't care about me, so why should I care about this right now? Yeah.
Okay, now specific question. Any specific tactical things
Mhm.
that from an attractive woman like yourself, if a guy
Mhm.
is trying to have a good date, any
Mhm.
specific things that he should do or strategies or things he should look out for?
Bring flowers. You'd be surprised how many people stop bringing flowers on a date. Too many guys stop buying flowers. I don't care if a girl says she's not gonna ask for flowers. Get her flowers. Every girl appreciates flowers. End of story. Like I think we should bring that back. I think we should bring like getting flowers especially on a first date. If you're really into them like that, get them flowers. If you bagged a second date, for sure, get them flowers. Oh my god. Open the door for them. Pull out their chair, things like that. Pull out the table if you have to.
Okay, out of the all the dates you've ever been on, how many guys have brought you flowers? I'm curious. Like, what is that? What is the ratio? What's the conversion?
Less than
Maybe like a
half.
percentage. I don't know.
Less
Less than
than
half.
half.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's actually more than I was thinking. I was like, is it like a 10% sort of thing? But okay,
Okay, I don't go on that many dates, but if I do, it would have been 10%.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Huh? Okay. Okay. Be a gentleman. Pull out chairs, doors, flowers. Anything else?
Just be honestly like anything that would be stereotypically considered chivalrous, do that. Because for most girls, chivalry is dead. When a guy opens my car door, I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. This is crazy. Because even nowadays, like, people don't do that anymore. To the point where, like, I did date a guy who's like a true gentleman, and he got me flowers. He did all the right stuff. And I'm like, I am swept away. And he's like, why? This is the bare minimum. I'm like, I know it's the bare minimum. People are still not doing the bare minimum nowadays. Unfortunately, I
Yeah.
think either people don't care, they're too nonchalant, or they just weren't raised right.
Yeah. And I think I feel like that's just a good thing because the bar is so low that it doesn't really
Solo.
take much effort, right? To like
Mm-hmm.
just stand out if that's what you really want.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say. Yeah, I don't know. I think, yeah, just, oh, here's the thing. It's like, I think even if it's a little bit of a stretch to go all out, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think making a good impression at the beginning is always better because if you make a bad impression, it can only go downhill from there. Because theoretically, when
Only,
you first meet
yeah.
someone, that's like the best it'll ever be, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why would you start off like bad and then no one's gonna expect you to get better from there, right? So why would
Yeah.
you not put your best foot forward?
Like you should be able to put your best foot forward, give the best first impression, because you only get one first impression.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy who said like he didn't like read anything on my profile and he didn't dress up for the date, like nothing like that. He doubled back and matched with he sent me a like again on Hinge like 6 7 months later, and I was like, hell the fuck no, no,
Like you already blew it, man. Like what's going on?
you already blew it, you already blew it. Oh my god,
Yeah.
even okay, he picked me up, dropped me off, but when he dropped me off, he drove away before I even got to the front door.
Mm. So
That was
nonchalant.
crazy to me. That was crazy to me.
It's giving like you show up to a job interview like not dressed up, not prepared. It's
Mm-hmm.
like why if you really wanted this job, wouldn't you put the effort into it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was very jaded after that. That was when I was like, okay, is this what I'm worth? Like, do I deserve to be treated like this? Because people are treating me like this, and it made me like really try to self reflect to the point where I was like, no, I don't deserve this. So I'm gonna be so selective with like who I want around me, and that just goes for everything across the board.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. Okay. I think that's all I have for dating. Did we miss anything you wanted to touch on?
Not much. Not much. Is there anything you want to
Cool.
touch on as
All right.
somebody who's been in a relationship for how long?
Um 6 years almost.
Six
No,
years
nothing that I want
almost.
to touch on. Yeah, I mean, if you guys get to almost 6 years, I'm sure you're doing something right because
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to maintain a relationship that long. But I don't know. I would say like maybe just my quick TLDR, like if you really want to have a long-term relationship for the audience, is you have to be really intentional with growing. It's kind of like if you don't fight for what you don't want always wins in life. And so you have to
Mhm.
be kind of proactive with everything. And so I think with your
Yes.
career, your health, your finances, your relationships, everything. So I think like you have to make it a priority. The only reason why you think the grass is greener on the other side is because you're not watering your own grass. And I know
Mhm.
that's just basic level, but I think that's something people should reflect on is like your relationship will be as good as the effort you put into it. And, there's other circumstances and stuff like that, but that's just
Yeah.
my big philosophy.
Mhm. Yeah, I know, I really do agree with you that, I've said this once with somebody that I was in a relationship with, but we fought so often, and it's like, yes, I do love you, and I can't help the way that I feel, like, I feel so much towards you, but I'm not happy, and it's like, I think that love is a choice that a person has to make every single day. And to make that choice, it's you got to resolve the conflicts. You got to choose to do the right thing and choose to like love them and embrace them and like do better, both of you. Cause he was very much like, it's so natural for couples to fight and argue. And I'm like, this is not natural. Like, this is not normal and it shouldn't be normalized. Cause I came from other relationships where it was very easy. And so to choose to love those other people was super easy, but to choose to stay in a relationship and continue to love this guy was so hard to the point where I didn't even want to talk to my friends about it because I'm like, I know I sound stupid. I know I sound dumb. And eventually one day I chose to love myself instead of that person. And I've just been on like that healing journey ever since. And it's fucking hard, hard, hard journey to be on. I went through so much
Hmm.
and I had to and like a lot of these things are like advice that I would give to my friends because when you see your friends and you're like, it sucks that you're going through all these things. Like these are the advice that I would give you. But once you're actually in that situation, you're like, I don't want to be a hypocrite, but I sort of am.
Yeah, it's always different when it's subjective, right? It's like easier to give
Mm,
advice objectively, but subjectively, you're like, this is hard. I know what I'm supposed to do, but this is hard.
yeah. Ah, dating's weird. Having a love life is weird. Having a life is weird.
Yeah, yeah, no, you're not wrong. Um, I get two things that reminded me of while you were talking was the first thing is, in my opinion, the most important thing when you're in a relationship is learning how to I don't want to say learn how to fight, but I want to say learn how to get through the tough times because a
Mhm.
lot of younger people and young couples think that love is like the feeling and once the feeling's gone then the relationship's over. That's not actually true, but it's how do you handle the tough times when you guys are going through that rocky point because that's what the whole relationship is. Anyone can be in a
Mhm.
relationship when you're both happy, right? But
Yeah.
can you be in a relationship when it sucks and when you're both like emotionally drained and the whole
Yeah.
world is like, ganging up on you, right? So I would say like if you guys can like don't be scared of having arguments and having conflicts. That's not the point, but for me, looking back, if I give my younger self advice, is be excited to get to that point so that you can now work on it together. Because once you get through that, then you can show that you can get through tough times. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, the second thing is like, have you ever heard of like the honeymoon phase of like how long
Mhm.
it lasts? Like, there's this study about like the honeymoon phase lasts about 2 years, give or take, obviously per person.
Yeah.
But so I also tell younger people when they're in relationships or getting into new ones is like, yeah, you have all these feelings of hormones and cocaine in your brain about love about this other person, but eventually that will go away, right? And that's just normal.
Mhm.
Um, but I get excited to get to that point, so I know that after the cocaine like wears off, then that's the
Yeah.
real test of if you love that person because now it's a choice, like you were saying. It's not just a feeling, and so it's like one get to the point where you guys can get through conflict and then you realize proof of concept you guys are work well together and then two get past the honeymoon phase because yeah enjoy it, right? It's everyone loves that feeling of love, but the real
Mhm.
relationship starts after the honeymoon phase is done and then that's where you can figure out if you're really meant for long term.
Yeah.
If you have thoughts on that.
No thoughts on that at all. Honestly, I most of my relationships ended during the honeymoon phase, there was like I would say like one that like surpassed that. That was like the 5 year relationship, and for the most part, it was just chill. It was just chill. Like the whole relationship was chill. The honeymoon phase was super fun, but then at a certain point, um, he stopped like putting in effort. I would say like around like 3 years in. Not just
Mm.
for our relationship, but for himself. And that was when I started to feel like stagnant. Like, where's the chemistry that we used to have? Where's like the spark and all that? Like once you start dating a person, you gotta act like it's like you're starting to date them like every single time. Cause it's like, yeah, like sometimes like being more chill, being more relaxed in a stable long-term relationship is good, but you also gotta like keep the spark alive and actively choose to show them how you love them every single day or like every single time.
Of course. And it's both ways too, right? Like I think
Mhm.
both sides have to be on the same page. I think the hardest
Yes.
part is I'm kind of pulling this out of my ass, but I feel like one of the hardest parts of being in a relationship is like when you feel like you're not on the same page and one person obviously feels more attached to the relationship than the other. At what point do you say, "Hey, it's time to split," or should we keep this going? Because I had a relationship where it was actually very obvious I was the one holding it together, and
Mhm.
it was already sunk cost fallacy. Like I'm already this was a
Yeah.
past relationship. We were 5.5 years in, and it seemed like I was the only one who wanted to keep it going, and so I'm like, so if it, I came to the realization eventually that if the person I'm with doesn't want to be with me, there's no point in staying. And so that's a lesson
Mhm.
I've now internalized. But at that moment, I'm like, but we love each other. We've been together for so long and sunk cost
Yeah.
fallacy, all that stuff. So it's like, I know that's hard for people, but sometimes you do have to make that call for yourself or
Mhm.
have that difficult conversation because you're probably avoiding it.
Oh, no, I was straight up I addressed it like plainly. I was like, "Hey, I feel like I've been putting more effort into this relationship. I feel like you're not putting effort in at all. I don't feel cared for by you. I don't feel loved by you, like all these things. Um and I feel like I'm a very fair person. I brought up my issues with them about that and I gave them like 6 months to get their shit together and like prove to me that like they are like valuing me and want to make this situation better. And when the time was up and I didn't feel the difference, in fact, I felt like it got worse, I was like, "Well, we're done." I feel like I was being very fair and I gave them half a year to change, which is way more than most people would do. And I gave myself a timeline for that too, just to like, because you know how girls are, like, once they're done with a relationship, they're checked out. They're done way before the relationship actually ended. So I was done way before the relationship actually ended. And so when I realized, like, if you're done, I'm done. And that's how we split, but we're still on very good terms right now. We're like, hey, we're done. That's it.
Yeah, I love that. I guess my last thought on this topic before we kind of wind to a close is I think in all relationships, and especially like I'm a relationship coach by training, and so I kind of do this as well. But
Mm-hmm.
I think for everyone to really take away from this is like, I think a high quality life and relationship with anyone, friends, family, romantic, and whatever, I feel like the next level is always beyond or past a difficult conversation. I find that what holds people back in all sorts of relationships is that they always try to avoid that difficult conversation. And I think it's understandably, full transparency and compassion. I get it. Hard conversations, we all want to just run away from them. But
Mm-hmm.
if you feel stuck, there's likely a hard conversation you're avoiding. And I guess I implore whoever this resonates with to have that conversation because that's what's really going to kind of get you unstuck, especially if you're feeling that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. I always say the only way out of a storm is through it. So, sometimes you gotta just address it, confront it, and let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah. And don't be too scared of like, losing something, losing someone. I mean, like everyone all unhappiness is tied to attachment anyways, and nothing is permanent. So, if you want to get super metaphorical and philosophical, like, yeah, just I know it sucks, but I think if you're unhappy, you're probably too attached to something. I think that's my
Yeah.
takeaway. But yeah. All right, Kat, anything else on that or any other topics before we wind to a close?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. I always enjoy
Yeah, thanks
talking
for
to
being
you.
back. Same, same. It's always nice to catch up. I was thinking about this. I'm like, when's the next time I'm gonna see Kat? I'm like, I feel like it's gonna be at a club or something. Like, it's usually one on one like this, like or at like a cafe or something, or
Yeah.
it's just at the club. Like we're just at the club and like, oh, hey, look, it's Kat.
Catch
And
me.
so I feel
Hey,
like
listen,
that's
you want
probably the
my
next time I
guest
see
list.
you.
Let me take care of you. Let me take care of you. Big Mama's got you.
Nice. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Okay. All right. So before I wind up, Kat, what can people find you if they want to check out what you're up to or connect or anything like that?
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Pinkstellar, Pinkstellaire. I post about the stupid stuff that I'm usually up to, my thoughts and feelings about anything under the sun. Don't get me started on anything because I'm gonna keep going on it. Um, if you watch this podcast to the end, you get a general idea of what my personality is like, and I hope you guys stay for the ride.
Nice. I love it. Yeah, highly recommend. Follow Kat. Her content makes my feed a lot more fun and entertaining. Just by far, it's like normal stuff, and then it's just Kat. It's like I'm like, oh, this is great. So highly recommend. Cool. All right. Thank you. I'll do my final sign off. So thank you again, Kat, for being here. I really appreciate it. And then to the audience, thank you guys for being here. Thanks for listening, watching. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe, all that other stuff. Follow Kat. Leave us love in the comments. Leave Kat love in the comments. She's a great guest and always entertaining to listen to and insightful as well. And reminder to always be kind to other people, especially yourself. And remember that you can always learn something from someone if you take the time to listen. So thank you guys for being here.